Can you write off YouTube expenses? Not if you don't track them. Most creators are paying the IRS too much, but you don't have to. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build the only Google Sheet you need to track every single expense for your tax return and your YouTube business. Let's get started. I like to start with a blank spreadsheet so you can see how it's built. Let's add some titles so we know what the sheet is for. But I'm going to do what most don't. I'm going to copy and paste my bank transaction data to show you how much I spend on my YouTube channels. So now that I've exported bank data, I know what I can get from there and the columns I need. But to understand the numbers, I'm going to need some more columns. Let's add a column for category so we can summarize the spending. As I clean up these transactions, I've had this channel for over a year, and my other channel, Camp Brood, with over 2 million views and 4,300 subscribers, I started 5 years ago. But I'm also an accountant with over 30 years of experience with spreadsheets and financial data. So this channel is built to help YouTube creators handle the back office administration of running a business. Now that I've cleaned that up, I have some other expenses that I want to make sure I include. This month I bought some product from Amazon to make some product review videos. While I enter that, make sure you check out the video description for a link to this Google Sheet template while you watch the whole video so you know how to use it. To adjust the column width, click the double arrow icon and slide the column border left. Now let's click the border button and add a bottom border under the titles and center the text with the justification button. I also want to add a total. I like to do this above the data sometimes so that I don't have to scroll down to find it. Let's now click the Format Number button to make the amounts look better. Now I'll click the Paint Can button to fill the header row and the total expenses. I know of some more expenses from last year that I want to add, so let's add those dates. And while I have the option, let's convert this to a table for greater Google Sheets functionality. While I add these expenses, know that you can create your own categories. Here is a quick look at the IRS Schedule C list of expense categories. You'll probably use other supplies and utilities. But if you sell product, you will need to look into cost of goods sold as well. But I have an inventory sheet that can help with that. I'll link that video in the video description too. Now let's sort the table by date. Click the arrow next to the date, click Sort Column, then click A to Z or Z to A to put the most recent on top. To summarize data, I like to use pivot tables. So make sure your cursor is on the table, then click Insert Pivot Table. Here we will add the amount to the values section and the category to the rows section. I also want to see the spend by year, so let's bring the date over to the column section. That shows in the pivot table by day. One way to do it is to add columns for month and year and select those in the pivot table. The other way is to right-click on a date and create a pivot date group. We'll show both ways, but in the template we share with you, it will use the pivot date group and we'll remove the month and year. So let's go to the table and add month and year. So click Add, and we'll title the first column Year, and then use equal year, open parentheses, A8, close parentheses, to capture the year from the date. In the next column, type month, and then equals month, open parentheses, A8, close parentheses, and copy and paste the formulas down. This will add columns we can pivot on. Before we continue building this Google Sheet for your business, why would you want to track your expenses? Let's discuss this question while hiking in Glacier National Park, which we go over in great detail in our Camp Brood channel. Even if you're just getting started with your YouTube channel or your small business, taxes are important. Financially, if you can deduct the expenses on your personal tax return, you can save on both federal and state income tax. It's okay to report a tax loss on your business when you are just getting started. These losses can be used to offset W-2 wages from a normal job that you have. If you buy a $300 camera and you deduct it on your return, you can save up to $100 in federal and state taxes. Reporting your business income and expenses on your return from day one also teaches you how to do it right before you get too big. Talk to your tax advisor about your side hustle and use this sheet to take advantage of the tax benefits of starting a new business. Now below the pivot table, we can click on the Edit button and add year. Many people are visual learners. Here is where a pie chart could be helpful. Let's use Google Gemini to build one from this pivot table. Wow, that seemed to work well. It inserted the pie chart in a new worksheet. This is great for simple ad hoc charts. Anyway, I want a little more detail about my expense, so I'm going to add a vendor column. While I populate that data, unlock the Gemini AI features like this and get a professional ad-free email for pitching brands, upgrade to Google Workspace using my exclusive link below. It's the essential step to taking your YouTube channel from a hobby to a legit business. Now I am going to duplicate the pivot table sheet and exchange the category and the rows with vendor. I want the pie chart to update as I make changes to the expense list. I like what Gemini did in concept, but I need more. So I'm going to delete this first pie chart and create a new one. Let's duplicate the pivot table and title this new sheet Category Summary Chart and add a chart. The bar is negative, and as you can see, pie charts can't do negative numbers. So to solve this, we are going to have to change the sign in the expense. Here I am going to create another column temporarily and use equals ABS, open parentheses, D8, close parentheses, and copy the formula down to get the absolute value of the expense. Now I'm going to copy paste special values to get a positive result. And amazingly, through the power of Google Sheets, the pie chart now works. I'll delete that temp column now. But do you know what's best about Google Sheets? You can take it on the go. Here, let's switch to mobile and I'll show you how to add an expense. Bring up the Google Sheet in your Sheets app. Enter a new transaction with the date, description, category, vendor. But what is really valuable for tax purposes is that you can take a picture of the receipt and add it to your spreadsheet. Tap the plus, tap Insert Image in Cell, tap From Camera, take your picture, and tap Use Photo. Now the image is saved in the sheet for documented proof of the expense. We've got more to go, but I've got millions of views and thousands of subscribers over 2 channels, and I want to help you manage your business with Google Sheets. You don't need Trello, Notion, Calendly, or other software. Google Sheets and Workspace can do it all. Subscribe today to continue learning how to manage your business in just one software service and get email and cloud storage too. Did you notice that the pivot table and the pie chart updated with the new amounts? This is a simple but complex enough schedule to help you manage your expenses. But do you wonder how to see that receipt later? Me too. The best way I found is to copy the cell into a new cell in a new worksheet and then expand the cell size to see and read the image. Let's head back to the pivot table and show how to group the pivot by years using the date column. Right-click on any date in the pivot table and select Create Pivot Date Group. Then select the view you would like. Here I am going to select month to see how it works. Now I'm going to select year month, and you can see the same data with a more descriptive column header. Finally, let's select year to return to the original pivot table we viewed earlier, but instead of using a specially made year column, we can use the Pivot Date Group feature to display the view we want. To continue learning Google Sheets for your YouTube business, watch this video next. And if you are still here and found value in this video, please like, hype, and share it with other creators who should track their expenses too.